So I was called in after a couple of days into the office. My Metroline called me in and said we're having an investigation into what they called my assault on a passenger of theirs. I tried to explain my case. It went upstairs. Upstairs upheld it. Went to a tribunal, and the tribunal upheld it. And it was a long drawn-out 19-month case of a lot of toing and froing, a lot of paperwork, a lot of solicitors involved. And even after the event, I ended up in hospital in ICU for 6 days. I had 2 operations because I received an injury to my hand from the guy's tooth, which was a bacterial infection, which it took him quite a bit of time to figure out what type of bacteria it was. I was within, and I quote the surgeon, 3 days of possibly losing my hand at that stage before the surgery. So it was quite serious. So after all operations, hospital and everything else, Metroline upheld their decision and the tribunal upheld their decision, and here we are today. I don't really look at GoFundMe. I don't have it on my phone. My friends tell me every now and again that it's increasing, but I prefer not to look, because it was never about money. It was always about kind of me getting the justice, and it's more important for me that the public are backing me rather than kind of funds going into my account or whatever monetary kind of thing it is. It's never been that way, even though it's cost me a hell of a lot of money on my savings and a loss of wages and earnings over the last 2 years. It was never about money. It was really never about money. It was just about, I felt, and I need to feel justified in what I did that day. And because the judge found against me, it kind of puts you down in a hole and basically tells you that what you did was wrong, even though you know in your heart and soul you were right in what you did.
I felt so strongly about what happened to Mark. My dad was a policeman. I was always brought up to help when I saw people getting in trouble. I actually volunteered as a policeman myself. And so I just feel very strongly that other people should get support and thanks and recognition when they want to do that sort of thing. Never forcing anybody to, but if they do decide to help, we should get behind them, all of society, businesses as well. And so I just felt very strongly that this shouldn't be allowed to rest, that we should do something about it. I was pretty sure that I wasn't going to be alone in thinking that this was wrong, and I sometimes feel like you need to give the public a chance to express how they feel about something, and I was pretty confident that if they were given the chance to give a view on this, they would get behind Mark and they would agree with me, and that's what we've seen. So many people signing the petition, sharing the petition, saying what happened to Mark was wrong and that they see in their daily lives other people who don't look out for other people and they want to get behind people that do.
When I was getting on the bus, a young man was getting off on the front door, and he was running past me. I thought he's going to push me off the bus, but he didn't push me off the bus. He just grabbed my necklace and ran with it, which I haven't even realized at that point. The next minute or second, I saw Mark running out, running after the guy. I stepped off the bus, and by that time, the passengers saw what happened, and everybody came over to me and comforting me and asking me how I was and so on. And Mark returned, handed me the necklace.
So it's very difficult to accept the last 2 months since this has happened. I've kind of moved on, and I now work in a bar in Wembley, which my friend has supported me kind of for the last 2 years. Colin Green, I mean, what a man. I now work for him in a bar in Wembley called Barrel & Corner, and my life is kind of starting again, you know.
How does it feel to sit or to be in Parliament today and to hear the Justice Secretary call yourself a hero? What does that mean to you?
The hero thing for me is difficult to understand. I mean, there are heroes, there are war heroes, they fight wars. That's kind of the classification of a hero. What I did was probably brave, probably did something that most people might not do in the situation, but I'd call it brave more than a hero, if that makes sense. I think the hero phrase came from one of the passengers who were actually on the bus that day. She was quoted as saying in her statement, he's a hero, and I feel happier when getting on that bus every day, as you know, with these guys. He's a hero, and I think people ran with the hero thing then, just from that woman's statement, you know. But it was grand because people on my bus that day were 100% behind me, you know, in doing what I'd done. And it makes them feel safer, knowing that they have a backup if anything did happen on their bus. So I don't think that's a bad thing.
I think Metroline need to just come out and apologise. Mark deserves an apology. It's quite clear that they've gotten this wrong, and we'll be bringing forward proposals as the Conservatives for how we might help both employers. As I understand, it is an issue for employers as well as employees, have good Samaritan protections when people are doing the right thing, acting reasonably, that they're protected from legal action as a result. That's what worries employers, and I understand that, but at the same time they shouldn't be stopping people from doing the right thing. It's what we all should want people to do. Well, this is early days and it's something that we'll have to look at carefully, but we're confident that we can come up with a way of ensuring that there's a fairer balance struck between employers and employees and the public when it comes to ensuring that people are allowed to do the right thing, to step in and help when they see someone being a victim of a crime. I think that's what we would want all of our society to get behind.
And the guy was coming up, and he kept coming, and I was like, no, stay away from me. I don't want to do anything with you. He did not look, he looked very, very shifty. I did not feel comfortable at all. I would say I even felt threatened, so I was backing away. And that's when Mark realized that something is not right here, and he stepped in. I saw a punch flying, the guy hitting the floor, there was some blood, and then I started to call the police, and I was super busy calling the police, and that was pretty much my job from there onwards. And we waited for the police, I don't know how long, but at least 25, 30 minutes.
When you found out that Mark lost his job, what was your reaction?
I felt so guilty. I felt that it was my fault. I caused all this, and it just did not feel right. I wouldn't say it was all over again, the incident, but it felt something similar because I was the cause of it. And even though it was not my fault, and I knew it was not my fault, I couldn't do anything better, I still felt very, very guilty about what happened to him because I think it was unjust. I don't think he deserved that. Because if he doesn't do what he did, anything could have happened to me. Who would take care of my little girl?
It's an extremely tough job. You know, you're driving around a city which probably has up to 6 to 12 million cars driving in and out every day. There's 8,000 buses on the road, there's trucks, there's everything. To do that sort of job and to deal with the public at the same time, as well as every different traffic kind of thing that's going on the road, it's a very difficult job, and I commend every bus driver that does it, but I think they're underpaid, I think they're underprivileged, and if I was to get anything out of this, I would just hope the public realise how tough their job actually is and help them out more, you know, and not just the bus drivers. I'll say that for everyone in the city. If you see someone in trouble, I don't want it to become a vigilante state, a lawless state, but at the same time, if it's a situation where you think you can deal with by vocabulary or just having a talk to someone and ease the situation a small bit, by all means step in. If it gets violent, step away. I have no problem with that. It's just to have an understanding, just get London back to what it was, you know, because it's gone a little bit crazy and people need to kind of just take 1 or 2 steps back and think before they act. That's all.